Hello and welcome to Glenmaroch Lane Meet the Fleet Special, Part 1. So in this episode, I'm going to introduce you to all the fleet that I've got so far, and you get an idea of what we've got and what they entail. So, starting with the 08. With the 08 I've got here, this loco was acquired quite a number of years ago as a normal Bachmann 08. So, with this layout that we've now got as DCC, I thought, right, well, we definitely need an 08 because this is obviously basically the shunting layout. So, as you can see, it's in a weathered form, obviously with the blue and stuff, all over blue. And I sent this off to TRSW Limited, Paul, which was down in Lincolnshire, which always does a brilliant job. So, sent this off down to him to be weathered and sound chipped with a lock sound version 5. And basically, obviously, we've had this running on the layout with brilliant sound. It's even got a Stay Alive in it as well. So, yeah, the weathering detail on this and the stuff he's put into it has been really, really good. So, 2 drivers, second man, and a driver in there as well. So that's the shunter. So, onto the second loco, a Class 26. Now, again, I didn't have this from my fleet originally, so I acquired this from TRSW Limited, and I got in touch with Paul, and he said he had 2 locos to sale for my Glenmaroch Lane layout, which obviously is Scottish, and obviously 26s and 27s were obviously always based up in Scotland. So it was perfectly ideal for me to get all of these locos and obviously get them done and blah, blah, blah. So when I got in touch with Paul, he said, yeah, I've got 2 locos here. I've got a Class 26 and I've got a Class 27, which I'll show you in a minute. And you can have them if you want. So obviously I purchased this Class 26 045 with the front light discs as well, which is brilliant. Obviously done weathered with, I think if I remember rightly, it's got a lock sound version 4, because this is the earlier version of the Helgen Class 26. So yeah, I acquired this, which was the first purchase loco for this particular layout for the DCC. So yeah, all nicely weathered, all nicely detailed, and runs really, really nice. So moving on to the third loco, we've got the Class 27. Now again, as I said just earlier, the loco was acquired from TRSW again Limited from Paul. Another loco, obviously seen a very lot in Scotland, mainly around the Highlands, and I've seen these actually locos myself up at a shed called Eastfield up in Glasgow. But I've seen them bobbing around that area, up in Motherwell and so forth. So yeah, so again, acquired these 2 locos from Paul. Again, obviously already pre-weathered. Again, another Helgen version. But again, I think if I remember rightly, has a lock sound version 4 sound chip inside as well, and sounds amazing when it's up and running. Again, highly detailed, highly weathered, and a really nice looking loco all in all. So moving on to a bigger class, the Class 37. Now this 37 again was mine, and it was my very first one I actually ever had done as a DCC, because I used to use this one upstairs on my other layout on my head pumps. So I thought, well, 37027 is a Scottish loco named Lochiel. So I thought, right, okay, Batman version, get it off down to TRSW, give it to Paul, and get it sound chipped, which I think has got a lock sound version 5. Excellent sound, brilliant lights. The lights on these, when you actually turn them on and off, they kind of don't just flick on straight on and flick off. They kind of fade in and fade out, which I think is typical in here of this particular class of loco. But again, yeah, so Paul's fitted the sound chip into that, weathered it, added this. I'm not sure whether they had snowplows, I can't remember, but I think he's added the snowplows to it. And then all the relevant detail and stuff like that. And the lights, obviously, he's done himself to get it to do what it does. But absolutely perfect looking loco, runs really well, sounds really good, and the weathering is spot on. So yeah, absolutely brilliant loco to add to the fleet that we've got building up. So on to the next one, 47001. This was acquired from a good friend of mine who was unfortunately having to sell his collection or some of his collection to finance whatever. So he asked me did I want it, and I thought, well, yeah, I may as well, because it's one obviously I didn't have at the time. And so I purchased this. Obviously you can see it's not weathered, and it's got a basic Bachmann sound chip in, which eventually I will be sending it off, getting it redone, weathered and stuff, and with a better sound chip and that. But yeah, nice loco, good lights on it. Sounds not brilliant, but hey ho, that's what Bachmann are all about. But end of the day, nice looking loco. As I say, it will look better once I get it sent off to Paul. Obviously weathered, detailed, and hopefully look like the other 47 you can see in the shot. Next 47. This one again was one of my own fleet, which I used to have upstairs on head pumps. Again, obviously sent it off to TRSW down at Paul in Lincolnshire. He's put a lock sound 5 sound chip in it. Done the relevant weathering, detailing. Drivers added, I think there's drivers added both ends, yes there is. Also with snowplows. Now I know when I had this loco, it never had snowplows on. And when I looked at the original research into it, it did have snowplows up in the 80s. So thankfully Paul's added the snowplows, all the detailing and the weathering, an excellent sound chip as well. It's also got, because it's got a lock sound version 5, the lights are really good as well on it, and it sounds amazing, really does sound amazing, and runs really well. So yeah, cracking loco, excellent one for the fleet, and I love the idea of having Scott rail on the side. And it's basically, I remember it's 47492, which is also named the Enterprise in Scott. So it certainly fits in with the actual theme of the layout itself. Next loco, 47593 Galloway Princess. Now this loco again was one of mine from upstairs. Now those of you may be aware of that 47593 is still running today, but in a very slightly different guise. This version is done to look how it was in the 80s, because I'm running an 80s type style layout, that I had to get the 47 to match with the 80s theme. If you check out the photographs of 47493 in the 80s and as it is today, you'll see there is a very, very slight difference, especially over the front cab. But anyway, so going back to what I was saying before, Again, it's got a lock sound version 5, which obviously is Paul's put in. Done the relevant detailing, good, completely good weathering, as per usual. Snow plows on the front, drivers in either end, lights working front and back. Absolutely brilliant. Again, lovely sound, runs really well as too. So, yeah, absolutely lovely loco. Again, another Scottish-based loco, named Galloway Princess, as you can see, and then, as you can see in the loco, it's got the Scotty dog. So, obviously, you can tell us that there's a theme where I am trying to get these locos for the Scottish space. Going back to 47001, that will eventually be renumbered and will be a Scottish-based loco. As I'm aware, 47001, I don't think ever reached Scotland, but it will be renumbered in the near future with obviously a Scottish theme, or maybe even have a name to it. I don't know. We'll see as we go along anyway, as we go along in the near future. Moving on to another class, the Class 56. Now, this is one of my favourite locos, class-wise and engine and model-wise, because it's a Cavalex version. Now, this particular loco in the shot was again acquired from that friend of mine who again had to obviously, unfortunately, had to sell some of his fleet. So this one, 56070, has got Stay Alive in it. I can't remember what sound chip's in it now, but it's absolutely superb loco. It runs like a dream, and it sounds so good. Now, this one, I'm actually eventually going to send it off down to Paul to actually renumber, weather, detail, do all the relevant work that's needed to give it the Scottish number that it requires. But overall, these Cavalex 56s are one of the best locos going. I'll honestly say that they're actually better than the actual Bachmann 56, or even actually, don't think Bachmann doing it. I think it's actually Hornby they're doing. But these knock socks off the Hornby ones. And I've never known to buy a sound chip loco with a Stay Alive fitted already in it as well, which makes a huge difference. But absolutely brilliant loco. On to the next one. Now, again, this is the same number as I was saying to you before, but difference being is obviously that this one's going to stay as 56070, whereas the one I showed you before obviously will be renumbered for another Scottish loco. So going back onto this, this has got a Cavalex sound chip. I can't remember which one it is to be offhand. I'm sure if you research it, you'll find out. But again, this was purchased from Paul at TRSW. With obviously they did all the weathering, put the sound chip in. Well, I think the sound chip was already there, to be honest. But did all the weathering, detailing, and if you look closely as well, it's even got the window wipes where the muck has been, and obviously the wipers have cleaned it. You've got the relevant detailing in the front and back cabs. You've also got the brilliant drivers in the cabs. So yeah, and the weathering is superb on this. I really like this loco. But again, like I say, the Cavalex 56s are absolutely superb locos. One of the best ones I've ever had, to be honest. And probably being sound chipped, I've never actually had a sound chip loco. But this, to me, at the minute, knocks them all off. 56s are superb. Sound wise is superb. They run absolutely like a dream. Run really slow when you want them to. So yeah, absolutely brilliant loco. on to our third 56. Again, another Cavalex one, 56 120, or 120, whichever you want to call it. Again, acquired from Paul down at TSRSW. Again, weathered it, detailed it, cab, drivers in the cab. Again, a wonderful example of what he's done. His work is obviously sublime. I mean, he's so good at what he does. Not cheap, mind you, but the work is brilliant. Obviously detailed front and back. You've got the usual Stay Alive in there. Obviously the usual sound chip supplied by Cavalex. And the weather and everything else is just superb. It's such a lovely loco to run, as all the other two are as well. So yeah, again, another Scottish-based 56. They used to run up there every so often. So 56 120 was one prime example. But yeah, lovely loco to run, nicely detailed, and lovely weathering. Right, we'll leave it there, and we'll come back to you again very soon in part 2 to see more of the locos and DMUs and vehicles. So thanks again everyone for watching. Take care, and I'll see you very soon.